You know, there comes a point in your career when your technical competence just isn't the main thing driving you forward anymore. I learned this the hard way when I moved to Bermuda back in 2007. I was a good fund accountant, no question. But my success actually revealed something I wasn't expecting, a huge weakness in communication that was turning into a real career bottleneck. My reluctance to speak English meant my ideas, my contributions, they were often just unvoiced. And because of that, they went unrecognized.
And that's where this quote really hits home. Influence isn't some kind of soft skill. It's a direct tool for making an impact. But, and this is the key, to be able to use it, you have to find your voice first.
For a lot of leaders, this is the central problem, isn't it? You've got the skills, you have the knowledge, you've put in the time and have the experience. But if you can't articulate that value, you pretty much stay invisible. Your impact becomes limited not by what you can do, but by what other people happen to see.
My reality back in Bermuda was that I'd become what I call a certified public avoider. Seriously, I would literally avoid eye contact just to get out of small talk. A simple question like, "How was your weekend?" felt like a high-stakes exam. And a ringing phone, that was my signal for an unplanned, uncontrolled interaction that I wanted no part of. My professional strategy became about minimizing communication, which, of course, also minimized my presence and my potential.
So surviving this, and eventually thriving, took more than just a little practice. It really required a deliberate redesign of my whole approach to being visible. I had to shift from reacting with fear to acting with a clear intention. This wasn't a quick fix. It was about building a brand new capability from the ground up, and that started with finding a place where I could just practice.
And I want to be clear, this was not some overnight transformation. It was a strategic, multi-year investment. The journey started with that initial fear back in 2007, but the real work, the commitment, began in 2012 when I rejoined Toastmasters in Hong Kong. By 2016, the focus had shifted from just being able to speak to being able to lead. And the result, becoming a distinguished Toastmaster in 2018, wasn't really the goal itself. It was more of a milestone, a marker of a really profound shift in my capabilities.
My intention really evolved over that time. I didn't start out on some grand quest for leadership. Honestly, the initial plan was purely tactical. Finish my last 8 projects, get the certificate, and get out. But the process itself revealed that this skill wasn't just another line on my resume, it was the actual key to unlocking the next stage of my career.
This whole journey, from avoidance to articulation, taught me that influence has mechanics. It's not some abstract quality you're just born with. No, it's a system that can be understood, that can be practiced, and eventually can be mastered. And this is really the foundation of what I call strategic expression. So, what is strategic expression? It's the disciplined, intentional use of communication, not just to be understood, but to actively shape how you are perceived and to influence outcomes. It repositions communication from a soft skill to a core strategic asset. And the process follows 4 pretty distinct steps. First, you have to consciously design your visibility. Influence doesn't happen by accident. Then, through repeated practice, things like competing in speech contests, you build real clarity in your message and in your delivery. That clarity, when you combine it with taking on leadership roles, is how you earn authority. And finally, you use that authority to expand your positioning and create a much broader impact. The most important point here is that this entire journey wasn't just about becoming a better speaker. It was about learning how to intentionally position myself and my value in the minds of others.
Within the Pawn to Queen framework, this is the absolute essence of the strategic positioning stage. It's that point where you stop waiting for someone to notice you and you start deliberately designing your moves and, maybe most importantly, designing your voice. Which brings us to a final and I think critical reflection on the value that might be going unspoken in your own career right now. Your expertise is absolutely essential, but it is not sufficient. So I'll leave you with this question. Take a look at your own career, at the opportunities and the challenges that are right in front of you, and ask yourself, what important conversation have you been postponing?